Morning all, welcome back to Detailing World. My name's Matt and today we're off down to Car Chem's Wash Basics training day. So yeah, as I said, Car Chem, they hosted a free training day which they put up on the forums a few weeks back. It's just down in Mansfield at Yum Cars, so we're going to make a move down there. So for those who have been interested in attending training days but have been unsure what to expect on one of these days, hopefully we'll cover that today in this video. So yeah, we'll make a move and get down to Mansfield now, and they start in about 40 minutes. So yeah, let's crack on and get down there. Right, so now down at Yum's Cars, I've just met up with Stephen from Car Chem, so I'm just going to take all the cameras off, and whilst I do that and make a move inside, make sure you subscribe to this channel. I've got some prizes to give away, and we've also got a 500 sub prize running as well at the moment, so I'll put a link in the video to that. That'll just be up here now. So yeah, we'll go inside and see what today brings. So because of how the day went, basically there was two groups of people there. We had a bunch of members from the Detailing World forums, and we had some Ford Mustang owners. So I was running about between the two cars really, and watching both guys, Nick and Stephen, deliver their training. First of all, here we've got Nick just advising the Mustang guys, and this applies to everyone, is most modern day engines, they can take pressure washer or even a hose pipe. Modern day electrics, they are watertight and they're definitely splash tight. So it's just a case of just using a bit of common sense. If you've got any open air filters, as in the case of this Mustang, just cover them up with a carrier bag or a bin liner or something like that. So yeah, that's basically what Nick's doing there. Meanwhile, Stephen, he was just talking to the guys about the Beamer, which you'll be able to see in a moment just how dirty this engine bay was. He's just explaining that the way he would tackle something like this, as with any engine bay, is just an all-purpose cleaner on all the plastics and all the rubbers and basically all the surfaces under the bonnet, and don't forget the underside of the bonnet as well, just to tackle all of those with a general all-purpose cleaner. You would then obviously use your regular detailing brushes just to agitate all of the dirt. But first of all, as you can see the guys here, you just need to pick away any debris from around the scuttle panel. Sometimes these can fall down the sides, like towards the back of the wings, as you can see there. Obviously this is depending where you're parking your car, so if it's under a tree, then yeah, you're going to be getting a lot of natural rubble down in those areas. So here we can see Stephen just applying the all-purpose cleaner to all of the areas. He does give one other tip as well later on, and that is if you do run out of all-purpose cleaner, you can just use neat snow foam, but it will foam up a lot more than an all-purpose cleaner. Not that that's a problem, but it is something that can be used as well.
And because you're using it neat, just use that as well, and then what we'll do. So
this is just exactly where he's giving the advice on snow foam, and as you can see, just take a regular brush, barely any pressure whatsoever, and you can see the dirt just coming out of that engine cover just there, or whatever piece of trim you want to call that. So yeah, this was the basics of the engine bay detailing. We'll just let this run a little while, and we'll just watch the guys work at this, and yeah, I'll shut up for a minute. Meanwhile, whilst Stephen was doing the engine bay, because it was quite a dirty engine bay, I think Nick got onto the wheels a little quicker. So you can just see here, Nick's just showing how to deal with wheels using a selection of brushes, you know, from your regular detailing brushes to your dedicated wheel brushes. He also mentioned when you're cleaning tyres, most people will just spray a wheel cleaner onto the rubber or an all-purpose cleaner and then just scrub them away. A good point he does mention here is on dirty tyres, whatever product you use, it will turn brown, which is good because obviously that's all the dirt coming out. And this is just exactly what he's explaining, I think. But you want to keep cleaning it until the solution basically stays white, and you know you've got all of the dirt out. So as you can see, everybody who attended is given the opportunity to, you know, get hands-on with the vehicle. Some people opted not to. You know, there's stages some people didn't feel comfortable with, or they may have already done in the past. So this was suitable for all levels of detailers. You know, that's home detailers. So everyone was getting stuck in and having a go basically. So yeah, this little section here, this is all about the wheel cleaning. So whilst the wheels were being done on the Mustang, Nick got round to snow foaming it as well and just letting that soak on the car for a little while. He was also explaining, you know, gave good guidance on how snow foam works and the purpose of a snow foam. Meanwhile here, Stephen is just waiting, I think he was waiting for the pressure washer to come here, but he's just explaining to the guys that obviously they've just finished the engine bay and whatnot here. So they're just about to snow foam it, and he's just explaining the basic, again, explaining the sciences behind snow foam. So it was a very good day from Stephen at Car Chem, you know, really explaining how products are working and why we do what we do. Again, everybody loves a nice little bit of snow foaming, so I'm not sure if this guy's done it before or not, but he was really keen to jump on. Stephen does take over in just a short second with a little bit of advice from him. Now the way this guy's done it is how a lot of people will do it, and they'll start at the top and work them way down, but you can see them back and forwards. I'll just wait for Stephen to come back into shot in just one moment. So yeah, Stephen takes over, and the point of these days is to give you advice on, basically this is probably the correct way of doing that, and that is just to go along the full length of the car in a methodical manner, and you're not going to miss a bit, and it's just a lot quicker for yourself. I mean, I guess there's no right or wrong way, but that way it just makes it look so much easier and quicker. You've not missed a single drop of the car there, and this was a very, very dirty car. Back onto the Mustang here, as you can see, we've got another guy here. I think this actually is the owner of the car. He's just giving the other rear wheel a clean. So as I said a moment ago, everybody is given the opportunity to get hands-on on a training course. It's not just a case of standing around watching and listening to somebody talk to you on how to wash a car. You will be given the opportunity, at most courses that is, to actually learn and get a feeling for the different processes of washing a car here. And as you can see, compared to the Mustang, the BMW's got these multi-spoke, very tight-spoked wheels, which can be an absolute bugger to clean. As you notice on the Mustang, he was using quite large brushes just because it's quite easy for him to get into those gaps. Whereas here on the Beamer, you're going to be needing much smaller brushes. They can be, a lot more fiddly to get in there. So again, it's just a case of assessing every situation, or knowing the wheels you've got on your car and to what brushes would be the best kind of brushes to be using. And here you can see what I was explaining earlier. You clean the tyres, and the product that you're using, it just simply turns brown, so you'll rinse that off and then you'll go again and again and again until it does actually go white. Right, so whilst the snow foam is sat dwelling, at this point you've been given sort of 4 or 5 minutes to sit and do it, stuffing over there. Stephen's then explaining you don't have to be standing around whilst you're waiting for the snow foam to do its stuff. You can get to work on other things. So as you seen a moment ago, some of the guys were doing the wheels, but then Stephen's also explaining it's also a good opportunity while the snow foam is sat there just to whiz round with some all-purpose cleaner and a brush and get all the tight gaps. So that's the little roof rails, if that's what you want to call them. Get around all the window seals, the mirrors, your grills, your fog lights, and just clean all the areas that you know, your noodle mitt, your microfiber mitt, whatever it is you're going to be using, just to get round all of these areas that your wash mitts can't reach. And that's the difference between sort of like a detailer's wash and a £5 special at Tesco. You know, you're really paying attention to all those extra nooks and crannies and keeping the car as clean as you possibly can. So obviously the next stage up is washing the car. Stephen, again, he goes through explaining the 2-bucket method, why we use that. We had a bit of a good chat as well about grit guards. How many grit guards per bucket? Do you put 2 in one bucket? Do you put 1 in each bucket? There's no right or wrong answer again. I think we all agreed you want at least 1 in each of your bucket, 1 in your wash, 1 in your rinse. Stephen does say he'll put 2 in his rinse bucket. Then, as you can see, this guy here, Stephen also highlighted the importance of washing in straight lines. And there is a reason for that. That is, if you do happen to scratch the car at some point, you can see now if it's scratched at the wash stage. So if you do your bonnet front to back when you're washing, and then you dry it, say left to right, if you do notice a scratch, you can see, right, was that scratch picked up by, you know, a wash mitt, or was it done from the drying towel? It's also important at this stage as well not to miss all of the door shuts, the boot shuts, you know, get into those areas. Again, you can use either an all-purpose cleaner, or you can just use, you know, shampoo in a bottle or snow foam in a bottle, spray that in there, again, get around with another detailing brush and get into all the other gaps where most people would generally miss, and this is what makes the difference between detailing and just a regular wash. So I turn my back just for one moment, and this BMW was now purple. Whilst I was over with the Mustang guys, Stephen must have been discussing the importance of decontamination process. So that is obviously your tar removers, your iron removers and clay bar. And that's what the next section is all about. Now, I was talking to Nick at the time, and we mentioned we do the tar and then iron. Stephen's done it the other way around. Again, I don't think there's a right or wrong way of doing this. But as you can see from this car, absolutely turned purple. So that's an indication there's a lot of iron on this car. One thing we all agree on is obviously you do your tar remover and your iron remover before you do any claying. And again, that was something that was explained on the course, why clay comes later. And clay barring isn't the be all and end all of decontamination. You do need these chemical products to remove some of the fallout that your car does pick up. On the Mustangs, Nick did have one of these clay sponges, I think you'd call that, and I did actually get the opportunity to put the camera down for a second, have a go myself, and I'll be very surprised. They really good things they are. I think I'll definitely be investing in one of those myself. So that's a nice little plug there if you want to consider your claying options. Definitely worth looking at a clay sponge. Just from the 60 seconds or so I tried with it, felt so much better. Naturally, after you've done with the wash and the decontamination and all of that, you give the car a final rinse down and then dry the car afterwards. You can see some of the guys here. Stephen again mentioned with one of these big towels you want to be patting, or any size towel, you want to pat down first and then just drag the towel across to the next area. and pat it more than anything, and that will absorb a lot of the water. Over on the Mustang, Nick was wetting his towels first. I've never seen that done. I personally, I do like to use a damp towel. I normally achieve that by drying the windows first, so it gets a little bit of dampness, and then go and dry the car. But Nick, he was almost soaking it through, wringing it out, and then drying the car with a damp towel. So from this point onwards, we dragged the BMW windows. This was to do the interior, and we was going to do a bit of a polish, not much, just a hand polish, a wax, and seal the windows. It also made it a little easier for me in regards to filming. They were still working on the Mustang outside, but from here I pretty much just stuck around the BMW, so hopefully we're not going to be moving backwards and forwards from cars. So you can see, to start with, Stephen's just explaining how to use a all-in-one polish by hand. So similar to the washing and drying techniques, what Stephen was showing there is to polish, ideally in straight lines. Again, it's just, if you do happen to pick up any scratches or anything, you can see pretty much at what stage that may have happened. You can just check the product that we're using. So if it's a wash mitt, a polishing pad, a towel, you can just go back, check it if there's any foreign bodies on there, and then discard it or deal with it accordingly.
Come off. Yeah. And again, all you do is just do a swipe test with your finger, and then if it still looks a little bit oily or greasy, it's not quite ready to come off. If you do leave it for too long, don't worry, it's not going to be permanent bond or anything like that. Just go back to your glass cleaner, give it a very light spritz, and then just go over with your microfiber, and then that'll bring it back off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was just saying, if you...
So whilst we had some of the guys doing the polishing, we had a couple of guys doing some glass sealing as well. And again, here what we're doing is just as you would with a wax or something. You want even, methodical coverage, so just going up and down in straight lines. Make sure you coat the glass 100%, and then, you know, remember to whiz around the edges and get right up into the corners of those. Again, much like a wax, which we'll get onto in a moment, you need to leave that just for a minute or two, and then give it a little swipe test and see if it comes off clean. If it still looks greasy, it needs to gas out a little more. But yeah, and then once it does come off nice and clean, you can then get your microfiber, just as we're doing here, and then remove any of the product that you put on there. So onto the interior of the car. Again, we went through absolutely everything from the basics of, you know, getting into all the nooks and crannies and how to get the dirt out the carpet it's best, to a bit of leather treatment and conditioning as well. So you can see it, and this car, it was just a great car for one of these training days. Yeah, it's a daily driver, kids, dogs, you name it, it goes in this car. So as I say, a great car just to be training on. Again, whilst a couple of the guys was working on the interior, we had Stephen showing the other guys just how to protect the wheels, apply rubber dressings onto the wheels as well, or onto the tyres should I say. And yeah, these are the little finishing touches again that, you know, can make a car stand out from any other car, and you'll see towards the end of this video this looks like a totally new car once we're done with it. It really does make all the difference, just taking the time getting this kind of finish. So next we're pretty much onto the final stage of any detail, and that is applying a wax. We've got everybody at this, again Stephen, and on this occasion though we even got Nick here just answering a few questions from the guys. We're just talking about how important it is to get full coverage, and that means going, you know, left and right, and then even up and down as well, just to make sure you cover the entire car, you know, get the entire panel 100% covered with the wax that it is you are using. So yeah, that's pretty much it then really. Once you've buffed the wax off, it's, well, just a case of standing back and admiring your work. So again, I'll shut up right about now, and we'll just take a look at some of the finishing shots of this car. So yeah, hope you enjoy. Right, so that's it for the training course today. So big thanks to Stephen at Chem and Nick from Yum's Cars for letting us use the unit. As always, if you've enjoyed this video, then make sure you smash that like button. If you've not enjoyed it, then, well, you know what to do. Leave a comment below if you've got any questions about today's activities, or any questions in general about detailing. I'll do my best to answer them below. If we've got plenty of questions, then we'll probably just do a whole video, a little Q&A video. But yeah, just leave any questions below for anything about today, or any wash basic questions. Oh, and yeah, don't forget to subscribe. We've still got the 500 subscriber video going, so we'll put that up there now. Click that bell icon as well to get instant notifications. So yeah, that's it for now, and we'll see you on the next one.